Like when I went to Mount Vernon, they had the Royal Flush Dancers up there, right? Hey, the Royal Flush Dancers at Mount Vernon, they had jackets on that said Royal Flush Dancers. They had their names on them. I'm trying to think of some of the other groups. The Magnificent Zodiac Dancers. The Magnificent Zodiac Dancers, they would have on their jackets, Magnificent Zodiac Dancers. These dudes was all pop lockers and stuff, right? And this was another part of this transition, because if you hear about some of these groups that used to be gangs that were dancing groups, people don't know that. Some of these groups were dancing groups. You know what I'm saying? I remember the Sharp Dancers. I remember the Playboy Dancers. You know what I'm saying? I remember the Red Light Dancers. I remember all, you know what I'm saying? I remember all of this stuff here. You know what I mean? And some of these groups have evolved and became other things since that time through the inception of the gang construct. But at the same time, it's a difference, and it's a difference, and it makes a difference because of the fact that when you think about it, right? We evolved so far. Now it seems like we started to, do I want to say devolve? What's the word to say we evolve and revolve backwards? Devolve. Because now it seems like we're going backwards. Back then we was hustling, making money. Now, I don't know what they're doing. But I can't criticize the present because of the fact that the past wasn't nothing perfect either.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, when you was living in this house, from the outside, it looks pretty big. Did everybody have like their own room? How spacious really was it?
When I lived in that house, let me tell you what the house looked like. I'm gonna give you a visual tour. Front room right here, right? Oh, I thought my phone was going off. Front room right here. My father tore down that wall. This house has 2 one-bedroom apartments and like 3.5 bedrooms upstairs, 2 kitchenettes. So he tore the wall down. So this right here, this whole 1-bedroom apartment, he tore that down and made that our living room. Then you had the whole other apartment on that side, right? Then behind them both there were kitchens, because like I say, they were 1-bedroom apartments. So behind each of them, there were kitchens behind each of those, right? So when you went upstairs, if I'm walking upstairs and I get to the top of the stairs and I turn like this and I come around the banister and I turn, my bedroom was to the left. Me and Little Eddie bedroom was to the left. Raymond and Big Eddie bedroom was to the right. So they had the bedroom right here where you could see out the window and you could look out. I had the bedroom in the back of the house. In back of my room was like a kitchenette. Was like cause they put a washer and dryer, but it had a sink. Like you could cook back there actually if you wanted to. It had the hookup for gas and stuff. But anyway, I had the view out the back window. That was, let me see. That was my room where that air conditioner is at right there. That was my brother's room right there where the bars were on the front, right there. My father had the room on the other side right here. The other room up in the front on the far side by the apartment building at the top, that was my father's room. And then in the front right here is a little extra room. It's like a little bonus room. Right here in the very front in the center at the top, that's like a little bonus room. And then, I'm trying to think. Yeah, that was the house. That was the house. It was big, but it was a big house. It was a very big house. You know how you see the size of that house, and you know that that's a split level, but you know as a single level, that right there could house a couple families.
So what made you guys move out?
I was in jail, 84. I was in Camp Afflerball. I was in camp for 13 months. My father was in prison. He got caught up on, I think, a drug charge or something there. And my father was in prison. And I think my stepmother, she took him to court because they bought the house together. So I think she took him to court because she wanted half or something like that there. I was not exactly sure because the process of when everything was going on, I was in jail. So when I got out, we was moving out. You know what I mean? That was 84, 85. I think it was 84. If I'm not mistaken, it was 84, I think. Something like that.
What was that like? A house with a lot of meaning. Now you guys are moving out.
I don't know. It was different. Well, I was just getting out of jail, so I hadn't been in the house. Like I say, I had been in jail 13 months. So my my state of mind, I was in transition anyway, because I'm just now coming back into the world. So everything that was going on in the world was already going on before I got back to it. So you know what I mean? I didn't have an understanding of what was even taking place. I didn't understand law. I didn't understand community property and divorces and all that type of stuff there. So I had no understanding of the fact of how things were going. But my first mind was I felt that if the house was taken, I didn't have an understanding of the fact that it was like a mutual property thing because of husband and wife. So it was something different. You know what I mean? It was a downsize. That's what I call it. It was a downsize. Because as big as that house is right there, I haven't moved to nothing else that big. Well, I ain't gonna say that. Yeah, no, I ain't gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna say that. I ain't lived in nothing else that big since I lived in that house.